Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me again. It is podcast time. I'm sort of on time this week, which is good. And it's a beautiful day here in the Northern Rivers. Sun's out, the whales are out. It's been very beautiful here. And I hope you've been doing well navigating your beautiful journey here. And so we'll be looking at this week the astrological energies from Monday, the 28th of July, until the 3rd of August, until Sunday, 3rd of August. So, yeah, the year is flying. I don't know what's been happening. The year of the snake. I feel like it's been a lot of shedding of skin. Lots of with the early year retrogrades of all the personal planets, and so I feel like this year sort of feels like belated in a way. It hasn't really started. It didn't really start until May or June, it feels like, with all the retrogrades and all the backwards and so yeah, and right now we're again in a personal planet retrograde. Mercury is still retrograde, as we can see in the sign of Leo until the 12th of August. So we're still for a bit of detour, change of plans, declutter, realigning, readjusting our our hearts, our minds, tuning in. And yeah, the universe conspires with us, even though at times it feels like, what the fuck? Enough of all this funky energy detours. But yeah, here we are, still here on the 29th of July. It is Tuesday here. And what I'll be looking at today. So again, a juicy week. As we can see, Mercury is retrograde and will be meeting the sun. Um, When's that gonna be? So on the 31st of July, 1st of August, Mercury is coming together with the Sun. It's a Cassini. And yeah, there is yeah, let's just go straight into it. As we can see, the sun is still in Leo. Happy birthday, all you beautiful Leos, playful, childlike, heartwarming energies that Leo season brings, which is so beautiful. I love the Leo energy. It's creative. It's that creative zest and self-expression and ruling the fifth house in the zodiacal wheel, which is, yeah, about that playfulness and being childlike and lighthearted and a little bit of center stage. And that's a nice thing too. And yeah, so for the next 3 weeks, the sun is still moving through the sign of Leo, and Mercury is seemingly moving backwards to 4 degrees of Leo. And yeah, so on the last day of July, 1st of August, we will feel that Mercury coming together with the sun. So that's always a big deal because the sun is our sense of self, our I amness. And that I amness is very, very voluptuous and exuberant in the sign of Leo. And this Mercury that is aligning the heart and the mind is coming together with the sun in that backwards motion. And I feel it's going to be something, a huge shift of energy, how we are feeling inside of us, maybe an epiphany moment, maybe something is coming to consciousness around how do I want to show up in the world? Where is there any past woundings, traumas, abuse, anything that's still, of course, lingering in our systems? It's about, again, also that creative self-expression where yeah, we are on that inner journey. And I find it's a very beautiful coming together with Mercury because, yeah, Mercury, the mind, and we meet Mercury when we're at a crossroads, when we are at this threshold. Then Mercury comes into our lives and shows us that we are at a crossroads, that we are, yeah, want to make those adjustments on the inside. It's not what happens on the outside. but it's really, how do I want to show up? What is there for me? What's so obvious? Because Leo is, it's roaring. It's a roaring energy, and I feel like we can't overlook it, or I feel it could have to do with where have I been suppressing my creative zest, my energy, my life force. So there could be wake up moments also. How do I share my energy? What is healthy? What is no longer aligned? Where am I? Yeah, sort of, where am I not looking after myself, neglecting my own sense of self, or where have I haven't been allowing myself to play more, to be joyful, childlike, and feeling guilt and shame. And so there could be a lot could be coming up. And it's a great time also for journaling. Mercury is about communicating, writing, our way of sharing ideas. And this is a very intimate encounter here. But I'm not saying that it's also a good time to have therapy, any kind of holistic, beautiful therapy that can help us to tap into anything where our chi, our life force might be stuck due to old ways of conditioning, due to armoring, and anything as a defensive mechanism that we have been putting on as a child, where we were innocent and we still are innocent, where we were not in control, where we had to give in to the big people that told us and showed us what love is and what love isn't. And so, yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff is up for us to look at, to really connect with the beautiful sun in Leo and readjust that sense of self and who am I now because of all that I have been experiencing and all that conditioning and yeah, that energy that has helped me to become who I am now. And at the same time, what am I ready and willing and able to let go of? And often it can be challenging to be with that by ourselves. And it's beautiful if we have, yeah, our friends, kindred spirits, or maybe yeah, holistic practitioners that can help us shift those energies that often still feels like it's holding us back from truly coming from our essence, which is pure love. And I feel it's a great week to do that. And talking about conditioned ways of being, armoring, holding back, what's happening here? In another fiery corner here. So it's pretty cool. We got a lot of fire energy at the moment. We got Saturn and Neptune retrograding in Aries. We have Aries, goddess of discord and strife. She's in Aries at 25 degrees. And here is Chiron. So also this week and from here on, from today on, tomorrow onwards, Chiron is preparing to go retrograde until next year. Until the 2nd of January 2026, Chiron will be going retrograde to 22 degrees of Aries and then again forwards momentum movement. So this is also really profound. And wherever that happens in our chart, Chiron is the wounded healer planetoid. In mythology, Chiron was a centaur. He was one of the wise ones. He was not a bogan like the other centaurs, ravaging, roaming around and whatever. So Chiron, he was different. He was a centaur. He was into homeopathy, herbalism. He was into martial arts. He was the divine healer, teacher, mentor who taught the young. He taught Hercules the art of yeah, martial arts and the art of yeah, the art of war, but a peaceful warrior. Yeah, he was very aware and still, um, Chiron reflects that wound, a physical wound, a mental, divine wound, the wound that helps us the cracks within us that we can fill up with gold, where he reminds us that our wounding is here to become our greatest gift. This is the remedy. So Chiron holds the answers. Chiron is also the symbol here, the symbol of the key. Chiron also means hands. There is healing, so much healing there with our hands, with our body, working with the wound. And when we can make this wound conscious, that's how we can heal. We can heal it when we are vulnerable and allowing it to feel it. And Chiron also means vulnerability. So Chiron in Aries has been showing us over the last years that there is a wound. Aries is ruled by Mars, a wound in the sacred masculine. Where is the wound here in the masculine, in our collective? We have a wounding in, yeah, in the hierarchies, in the patriarch, in and I feel also a lot of men. I feel greatest empathy with a lot of men, young men, older men, doesn't matter, because I feel there has been so much conditioning, so much pressure on what it means to be masculine in the world. Yeah, what does it mean? I feel like because that the picture of masculine, feminine has shifted in very unhealthy ways, often that women are driving trucks in the mines and want to be harder and tougher, swallowing down the feminine aspect, um and men are trying a lot due to unhealthy relationships with their mothers and sisters and females in their lives to become more feminine, which kills, I feel, the beauty of the masculine, the strength of that, the masculine, the own sacredness within the divine healing, the potency of the masculine, which the strength I feel within the masculine is to be true to oneself, to be in that, allowing oneself to have the stamina, the strength, a strong backbone, and being strengthened also through vulnerability. And this Chiron in Aries shows that masculine wounding around, because most men are taught like, don't cry, don't show any weakness, otherwise you won't be able to compete in the world and be someone and whatever. So I feel, such an unhealthy way for a lot of men in our society that are putting on a mask, and we all do, of either that they're doing everything to become the softie, because apparently women expect men to be super soft and whatever. But then I feel we should, and all of that needs to be yeah, needs to go, needs to leave any of this conditioning. And you might disagree with what I say, and that's totally cool, but I really feel that this Chiron in Aries has a lot to do with um healing the wounded masculine within us, whether we're female, masculine, no matter what our sexual orientation is, and being true and authentic to ourselves. As a woman, I feel like I want to be more feminine. I want to be in the flow and surrender and allow myself to feel the joy of being in my female body without being in surviving mode, without putting on armors and having my sword ready to fuck everyone off around me because I'm tough and I can do it all on my own. And so that's the other extreme. And I feel like we are all very conditioned in either of those ways, and where relationships can be really challenging because of all those yeah, deep defense mechanisms that we've put on, and the confusion in our society. So I feel as this Chiron is starting its retrograde journey, we could ask ourselves also, it's about how do I assert myself? Where have I been holding back in speaking my truth and being my authentic self? Aries is the sign of authenticity, of sovereignty, purity, going for what we want. And we have the beautiful Leo action here that is all about the heart. Can I allow myself to follow my heart's desires, to be in my own authenticity, to not censor myself any longer, to not trying to fit into any picture in order to be loved, liked, appreciated, because Chiron holds the wound of rejection and abandonment. So a lot of us have that wounding, and it only fucking comes up in relationships. It doesn't come up for the guru that sits in a cave and thinks he has it all figured out. It doesn't happen there. There is no sense of abandonment and rejection because that only arises in interdependent relationships when we encounter the other as the mirror. And then that's where we start projecting. That's where we feel like because we want to meet one another in that intimate encounter, unless we are one of those polyamorous people like in my area, then that's usually doesn't happen because there is no commitment as such to such intimacy. So yeah, I guess that's the cool side of polyamory. There's no commitment and no dealing with your own or other people's stuff all that much. But anyway, and you may not agree with that neither, and that's cool. And but I really feel that yeah, there is so much wounding. We are all wounded in different ways, and just being in this world and how we are born and preconception. And I feel like we've came in through a portal that is sort of where we feel separate. There is this innate sense of separation. I'm separate from nature. I'm separate from you. I need to do something to stand out, to be above. Then we have the conditioning through parents and our early experiences. So it's really, really huge. And so I feel this Chiron going retrograde has a lot to do with that core wounding. Where do I abandon myself still? Where am I rejecting myself or feeling unworthy? Because it's a wounding of being unworthy. Of the wounding of Chiron in mythology is in his leg. The leg connects Chiron with the mortality. There is divinity, there is mortality, but it's the earthly part of Chiron that's wounded, and that is our earthly separation with the earth itself, with the nature, with our inner nature, and then, of course, with everyone that we meet. And that's where it plays out, and that's where it becomes juicy. And that's where a lot of relationships get super challenged, unless, and that's also the beauty of relationships because there's always triggers. But I feel if we have that awareness and that self-consciousness and the willingness to work with one another, acknowledging each other's wounds, celebrate one another, set each other up for success in an interdependent way where we create win-win situations. We allow each other to be and work, be on our unique journey while we are able to hold space for what the other is going through. But that is also a huge commitment, I feel, that maybe a lot of us aren't ready for because yeah, we have, I feel like there's so much going inside of us that we are currently aligning, adjusting, and reevaluating. But then I feel like the beauty is to be on the healing journey without ridding ourselves of relationships because they're the real deal. Like we can be on our own for years and years and tell ourselves, I figured this out, I healed that. And then boom, a person comes into our lives that we feel this deep connection and we want to be in the eighth house in the zodiacal wheel where we share intimately. It's life, death, rebirth. And in this area, that's where shit arises. And it has to be. And it's a beautiful thing. And that's where I feel a lot of people are running at first signs of, oh my God, actually this person is different to what I thought they are, and I thought they had it all figured out, and now I have to deal with their possessiveness or their anxious attachment style and whatever it is. But I feel in a beautiful sacred bond, we can work through it as long as each partner can own their stuff. And also that stuff isn't up all the time because that's a bit too much too. But when things come up, then to look at it together and without blaming, shaming, because also that's the energy too of Chiron retrograding through Aries, claiming our own Aries nature. This is my true essence. I own my shit. I'm responsible for what arises within me. And often that's a trigger through the outer world. And so there is so much learning from here onwards until early January, 2nd of January, with Chiron retrograding, coming together with Aries, discord, goddess of discord and strife, who was uninvited by the gods. She's again, it's again about rejection and abandonment, not being invited while everyone else was gathering and having fun. And so, and again, can I claim being, yeah, my freaky, yeah, weird, unique, awesome self, even when others disagree? Or, and Aries is also, I guess, also to be careful that we are not reactive, because Aries is the first sign. There is a certain immaturity as well, where we feel triggered, boom, there's a reaction. So again, Chiron is showing us, can I respond? Can I be self-responsible? And if I'm triggered, maybe step away for a bit and rather than being reactive. So this is a huge week of encountering ourselves in new ways through others, because yeah, they're the mirror. And but then also maybe we need solitude, particularly also now on the 1st of August, we have Venus from the 31st into the 1st of August. Venus is moving into the sign of Cancer, and she will be there until the 26th of August. So yeah, for 3.5 weeks, Venus in the sign of Cancer. So that's a whole different energy. Venus is now still in Gemini. She's bubbly, social. There is interaction, quick-minded, wittedness. And so lots of ideas. And now in the sign of Cancer until 26th of August, there is again a deeper connection with our feeling world. She's subtle, she's attuned, intuitive, more gentle. There is a spirit of gentleness coming through among all this deep encounter, which I always feel like the universe conspires so much with us on this healing journey. And as we can see, as she moves into Cancer, there is an immediate square to Saturn and Neptune, who are pretty much conjunct right now at 1 degrees of the first degree of Aries. So again, we are encountering this week maybe some friction. There is tension maybe from the outside, from the inside, something, what is holding me back? What is there that sits uncomfortably within me that we feel, okay, can I drop into that? Can I allow to finally tune into that, my inner nature, and there is a softness and calmness. And um so this is really big strong energies coming through. And especially with Chiron retrograde in Aries, and that Saturn in Aries and Neptune, that are the reminders again of claiming, standing in our sovereignty through love, through that conviction and saying yes to myself. It's also interesting because Saturn is the planet that says, no, you can't. Aries says, yes, you can. So, and then in a square to Venus in Cancer, there is, yeah, can I say yes to me, to my feeling world, to the softness? Can I allow myself to be in that feminine flow? There is also, of course, we don't want to drown in the Cancer energy or in the depth of emotions, because with Jupiter here as well, there can be things can be blown out of proportion. Um, so yeah, this is big energies, but very feminine, and I feel we need that femininity among all the strong Aries nature, the warrior. And it is about this week is a true invitation of claiming the parts of ourselves that have felt exiled, that have been feeling unheard, unhealed, unseen. And so this is big energies. And so as Venus is in this first square to Saturn, she won't be there for long because she moves fairly swiftly, but we'll feel it this week for a day or two that, yeah, something is holding us back, maybe some encounter in the outer world, a situation where we want to be sharing something um, softly and intimately, and there could be a harshness or there could be a no from the outer world, or now is not the right time, or so it's very important to be very compassionate with ourselves, to own what wants to arise, to find time for ourselves. But then it's beautiful as Venus also, she will come together with Jupiter. There's also romance in the air. It's romantic, it's soft, we want to share our true feelings, and how beautiful that sharing our truth is coming in the same package as Chiron is inviting us to be more vulnerable. And I feel like with the right people within that contain a portal of softness, empathy, not sympathy, but empathy. And we can do this work beautifully together. And so also Mars is on the way, coming to its finalized stages of Virgo. And I'll talk about next week because Mars will be moving into Libra on the 6th of August, 7th of August. So that's also again a big change out of, but still we are in Virgo, so we're still also having that invitation opportunity to see things in a practical way, to work through also any stuff that might arise with other people. We can be practical, we can be also a bit less detached with all the fire nature. We can maybe have a nice ritual, write things out together, burn them in the fire, we're still, of course, in the new moon Leo energy of yeah, bringing in, planting seeds. What is it that I want for myself? And this was such a powerful new moon, and also this whole lunation until what are we looking at? Until the 23rd of August. We are facing a deep honesty and truth with ourselves about what is no longer serving, what is time to let go. And so it's it's really big because this Pluto that was opposing the new moon is really we're taking that with us. And Pluto is harsh, is ruthless, is fierce, and it's like, okay, and maybe we can use any kind of situation that arises this week and ongoing as what is this showing me about myself? What is this situation or this person showing me about what my beliefs are about myself? If I feel unworthy, triggered because I feel rejected, abandoned, or I don't hear back from them, or whatever it is, we can ask ourselves, okay, what does that show me? And maybe we can go deeper of where am I not loving myself enough? Why am I still, and I'm talking to myself a lot here, why am I not showing up in the world the way I want to show up? Why don't I want to be seen? Why? And then I complain maybe about, I'm not seen, I'm not heard. And then it's like, okay, but yeah, but you're still hiding a lot. Are you hiding your true divinity spark? And why is it? What fear? what fear is beneath that. And Saturn is about fear, a fear, and we have the core wound of rejection. We have the sensitivity of Venus in Cancer. We have, and the beautiful Leo season, the season of the heart. And with that, I'm gonna leave you and have a beautiful week ahead. I would love to hear from you how you're cruising and navigating. And yeah, I'll talk to you next week. Thanks so much for joining in, for supporting me, and so much love. Thank you. Bye for now.